Hi, welcome everyone. This is Anne Marie from The Practice Space. I'm the founder and executive director, and we're here live with you on Facebook for our first event, which we're calling The Practice World. So Practice World is a performance series that we are holding to help people feel more connected and to help people practice saying their message and telling their story and practice using their voice with the world. Because even though we are not in person, we can still tell our stories, we can still be listeners. And to all of you out there, audience, thank you for tuning in and listening to these wonderful speakers. So what we're doing is we're partnering with different community organizations and also different residents of local cities like Richmond and San Pablo to reach out to people who want to speak up for themselves and want to tell their stories, because our whole mission is about elevating underrepresented voices. So if I can be joined by my guest speakers here today, we can get started. So if you can turn your cameras on and we can see you. Yay! Anyone out there, just give them some props, some round of applause. I know it's weird online. We don't actually get to see and hear each other. So we'll be monitoring the comments throughout the event and just seeing any other thoughts or questions you have. So this is meant to be interactive. So if you really love something or you want to send a message to someone, please type in the comments. We want this to be something that lifts up these wonderful young voices that we have here today. So before we go and do our speeches tonight, what we're going to do is a little bit of chatting first so you can get to know these wonderful speakers, and then we'll listen to their stories and performances. And then we'll end with a little interview, but it's a pretty short event, probably 15-20 minutes. So we will get started. So just starting with introductions. So I already said I'm Anne Marie, founder of the Practice Space, and you are tuning in to Practice World, our new performance series. So let's go over to Kathy, just a little introduction.
Okay, so hello everyone. My name is Kathy Navarro, and I am from San Pablo, California, and I underrepresent first generation college students, and I speak for all of them and their experiences.
Thank you. Nice to meet you, Kathy. Kathy's with the Richmond Promise. So anyone who knows that local organization, we are so happy to partner with them and get to know people like Kathy. Let's go over to Mylani.
Hello, everyone. My name is Milani Sonico. I am from San Pablo, California, and I represent the underrepresented voices of Asian women. And I speak because I've been used to being silenced for so long, and I feel that sharing my story can help benefit others to use their voices as well.
Excellent, thank you. And Janiece.
Hello, everyone. I am Janiece Williams. I'm from Richmond, California. I represent the underrepresented women, African-American women specifically, but women all included.
Excellent. And we also have a coach with us today. Willie, how about you introduce yourself?
Hi, everyone in Facebook land and all over the world. This is Willie Adams. I'm so happy to be here for Practice World 2020. I'm so jazzed and just honored to be with these awesome speakers. So, yeah.
Excellent. So yes, again, if you're tuning in online, it's meant to be interactive. So if you want to just say hi Janiece, hi Kathy, hi Mylani, please do. Otherwise, it feels like we're performing to ourselves. So again, if you're tuning in, this is Practice World by the Practice Space, a performance series where local youth and community organizations can share their stories, share their performances, share their voices so they can represent those important viewpoints. So before we get started, I'm curious just to learn from all of you, because this is something I think about a lot, but why is it important to have a voice?
It's important to have a voice because so many people feel like they don't. So when you have a voice and you're comfortable using it, it's important to use it because you're representing others. A lot of times we don't understand the power of speaking up and speaking for a matter. And a lot of times that helps people we've never seen, but we've reached by using our voice.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Yeah, I feel the same way. Yeah, how about others? Willie as well.
Again, I always say this, and being able to speak effectively and clearly and to advocate for yourself and to tell your story is a life skill. And really, I believe as an educator, my job is to uplift and give a platform for as many voices and as many underrepresented voices as I can. So opportunities like this where folks can actually practice the fundamental skills necessary to be effective is extremely important and paramount. So again, I'm honored to just in a small way be a part of your journey, and just really excited to see how this is going to blossom and grow and help you in your life journey and other attributes and other ways in your life as well. So yeah.
Excellent. Yeah, and so the way Practice World works to highlight these different voices. So I don't know how many people out there have been to open mics or maybe a moth storytelling event or something like that, but this is a little like that. There's some similarities. We gave each of these speakers one of 3 different themes. We gave them 3 choices. And so the themes for this month's event is community, love, and justice. And they could do anything that's spoken. They could tell a story, they could prepare a speech, they could do a poem, they could do acting, presentation, anything like that. And then we gave them some coaching right beforehand so that they feel ready. And so I'm curious just from all of you, if you can just say what theme you chose and what type of public speaking you're doing today, like a story, poem, how are you going to do it? Let's start with Janiece.
I am doing a spoken word poem. I would say mine represents community and justice.
Nice. Kathy, how about you?
So I'm going to be representing community because I'm going to be talking about, where I started, where I'm from, and how my journey along with being from my community. And I also am part of Richmond Promise, a partner with Youth Finance Institute of America, which is, partners with Richmond and Alameda. So community and just storytelling my story and through education.
Excellent. Thanks, Kathy. How about you, Mylani?
Yeah, for me, I'm really just sharing my college experience within this past year. How I've really learned the importance of building a strong sense of community and how I came to work with the Richmond Promise as well. So.
Oh, and you're getting some shout outs in the Facebook land, people saying, hi, everyone. And someone said a note to Janiece, Mies, so proud of you. Yay, thank you for those. Keep them coming. We need encouragement for these new speakers. So another thing that we do with public speaking is it all begins with breath. And even I've been doing public speaking for a really long time, and I still get nervous, especially in video and live things like this. So what I always tell our students and to these speakers and also to myself is it begins with a really good breath. So if we can just take a deep breath in and let it out. And everyone in the audience can join us too. Take a deep breath in and let it out. Just those little breaths can be really helpful. Even just little phrases can help you out with just like, okay, remember to breathe, things like that. Because especially at the end of a long day like this, we don't always remember to breathe. So without further ado, let's go to our first speaker. Let's go over to Kathy. I think we're going to start with you, and we can just enjoy your story. And yeah, let's go from there. Thanks, Kathy.
So hello, everyone again. My name is Kathy Navarro, and my major is business administration at California State University, Monterey Bay, with a concentration in marketing and a minor in psychology. And I'm going to tell you just a little bit briefly about myself and my story to furthering my education and going to college and pursuing my dream of being the first one to in my family to attend college. So school was never easy for me as I really struggled. I had to repeat the second grade and had to attend tutoring because of that. From the second grade all the way until middle school. And I struggled as well in middle school. And then I sort of towards the end, in a way, just got more confident and just learned what worked for me. And when I went to high school, everything just made more sense. My grades got better, and I just became so much confident. And I finally thought to myself, you know what, maybe, you know, I did unfortunately have a really past of, you know, struggling with school, but maybe I can pursue my dream of being the first one to go to college and go straight to a four-year like I always wanted to do. And when I went to high school, despite of, you know, my good grades and finally, you know, being eligible to going to college, I didn't really know what I was doing. I didn't have any friends that were going to go to college. I was the only one in my friend group as well, not just in my family, but in my friend group to go to college and go to straight to a four-year. Therefore, it was really hard for me to get the resources that I personally needed, not just applying to school, but there's so much that's behind it, you know, financial aid and housing and everything. Therefore, I kind of had to find those resources out on myself, along with some help of the counselor for my school. I didn't even know that I had one, but I just found out, and I really asked her for as much help as I could. And then I, you know, helped myself as much as I could as well. So as soon as I got to college, it was just so different as I had to do two remedial classes. Um, because like I said, school has always been something that I struggled with. However, something that I always wanted. So I just started going to tutoring as well as my college. And I got involved with extracurricular activities and organizations, and that really helped my overall college experience. And now I am so happy that I am now a fourth year and will be pursuing my degree in business. And um, I've been so fortunate to get to work with my community with Youth Finance Institute of America to give back to the community and to do something that I love, which is business, finance, and marketing. And I just can't wait to further this journey along with helping the community that I represent and that I love so much.
Yay! Excellent. Excellent job, Kathy. I think sometimes it's weird in these live events, even though we're not in person, so you don't get to hear the applause, but the applause was definitely inside for me. And so I'm curious, just from those who are either in the audience and watching on Facebook, or those here, what did we love about Kathy's speech? Let's throw some love.
Kathy, you
The
have
speech was really great. I can definitely relate. I'm a first generation college student and I'm a business admin major. So it was really great to hear. I totally understand school not always being easy. School wasn't easy for me. At one point I was put in like a program where they thought I couldn't read, and it was me not really applying myself. So I definitely resonated with you, and I'm just so proud that, you know, you kept going. And if it was something that you wanted and you didn't give up. So that's really, really good. Congrats to you.
Yes, Adela Darrow also said a similar comment. Good for you. You have a lot of support in college, so we're glad about that. Yeah. Willie, you had a thought.
Yeah, I really loved how you were so vulnerable in saying the things that were challenging to you, but also through your story, just the incredible amount of resilience and it just, again, even though I'm not that underrepresented voice, I could really connect and relate to what you were saying. It was really, really moving. So yeah, again, even though those experiences weren't mine, I was able to feel that. So I think that's really, really difficult to do as a storyteller, and you did a phenomenal job.
Yes, and Nancy says something similar. Lots of applause, first gen. I think that's just also just even more powerful. So you got a lot of props there for that. So thank you, Kathy. All right, we're gonna go over to Mylani, who has a story as well.
All right. Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Milani Sonico. I am an incoming second year at UCLA. And today I would like to share a personal story about my college experience within this past year and how I really learned the importance of giving back and building a strong sense of community. So last year I graduated from middle college high school, and I just remember feeling so proud of my accomplishments and really excited for a new chapter of my life. Now, of course, I was nervous to move from the Bay Area to LA with the change in environment and everything, but I was just full of more pride and excitement than nerves. And I'm not one to brag about my accomplishments and not one to make them known to everyone. But when I went to LA, I quickly realized that sharing those accomplishments changed people's perception of me within a matter of seconds. So, to name a few highly praised ones, I graduated as salutatorian of my senior class. I earned 3 associate's degrees at the end of high school, and I was awarded a Regent Scholarship to attend UCLA. Now, if your perception of me changed after sharing this information, then that is exactly what I experienced throughout my first year at UCLA. So sharing those accomplishments felt needed to explain why I was accepted. But once I was in the door, it was like, what else did I have to offer? So I felt like I returned back to square one, and I constantly had to prove my worth to others around me. And instead of rising to that challenge, I was quickly intimidated by the confidence exuding from the other students. And I was just overwhelmed by the amount of white privilege that I was being more exposed to. And of course, not being on the receiving end of that. So as a first generation college student and a person of color, I just felt anxious about where I stood and falling behind, not knowing anything about college going culture. And then I felt insecure about where I fit into UCLA student body. So I severely struggled with imposter syndrome, and even the smallest incidents would make me question my place there. I remember walking to and from class every day, and there would just be these groups of white male students who would interrupt my private conversations and sometimes even mock them. And within my first quarter, this happened at least 5 times, and each time I didn't know how to handle it. And so at that point, I just didn't know how to use my voice, and I felt like I was crawling deeper into my shell. So by the end of my first quarter, I wasn't performing as well as I'd hoped for academically, and I was too afraid to put myself out there socially. And when I returned home, it was just obvious that I was not in a happy place. So I really took the time to reflect over my winter break, and I relied on family, friends, and scholarship programs like the Richmond Promise for their support. And within those few weeks, their encouragement really reminded me that I am good enough and I am more than capable of succeeding whatever I choose to do. And I didn't fully realize it in that moment, but their encouragement had such a positive impact on me. And when I returned back to school, I experienced so much personal growth. I started picking up my grades and putting myself out there to meet new people, and really became less afraid of asking for help when needed. And so learning and growing from those experiences really inspired me to pay it forward and help uplift members of my community. And so that's why I decided to take advantage of the opportunity to work with Richmond Promise this summer and really invest in our Richmond youth. And so in addition to reading with elementary students and being amazed by their insight at such a young age, I also got to advise recent high school graduates and just offer them guidance, support, and my own experiences. And the highlight of that internship was just being able to encourage Richmond youth through every interaction, and just being there to reassure them that they are also more than capable of succeeding in whatever they choose to pursue. And so that is why I believe it is so important to give back and build a strong sense of community, because when you invest in uplifting others, when you yourself are being uplifted, it inspires others to do the same and ultimately contributes to changing the world for the better And I don't believe there's any way you could go wrong with that. So in the future, I'm excited to see, hopefully, a community that has grown along with me and that I've contributed to that growth in some way that I'm passionate about. Thank you.
Yay! Nice job, Mylani. Whew. That was quite a story. I think in comments, please send Mylani your love. Anything that stood out in her speech. One thing that stood out when I was listening was just like, you can feel so accomplished in name, and especially when you're going from high school to college, but it doesn't mean the journey's done. That, what I got from that is that you have these experiences that make you doubt yourself and make you question yourself along the way. And it's important to have those mentors. And I'm sure that the youth in Richmond were really, really grateful and also really lucky to have you in their lives, having gone through that journey yourself. So other love for Mylani from the speakers or from the audience. Oh, I see Nancy says, imposter syndrome, something so many of us deal with. I am glad you were able to overcome that. Look at you now. And other comments, I'm sorry that you had to experience that. Just keep learning and keep positive things going. And Caitlin gives lots of claps and wow, and Bishop James Williams is out there. That is a great accomplishment. So definitely lots of people who are relating to your story. Willie, you were going to say something though.
I was just going to say that was, it really resonated with me personally. I just shared with my father 30 years later since graduating from high school that I was actually accepted into UCLA, but I was terrified and I never told my parents that I got into that school because I thought I couldn't make it. I thought I wasn't good enough. I thought all of those things that you were describing here. So your story really resonated with me personally, and your tone and the way that you deliver the story was so engaging and just really soothing and really allowed me to just really fall into your narrative. So thank you for sharing that, and please continue to share that story. You can inspire someone with your words.
Same. It's so good to see you grown up. I don't know if you remember me, but I remember you from the Boys and Girls Club. So it's so good to see you. Yes, it's so good to see you being outspoken. I also went to middle college, so I understand the struggle, and you accomplishing all those things, it takes a lot. I definitely understand. So kudos to you. Kudos for sharing, and kudos to giving back to your community, because that's really, really important. So I'm very, very proud of you.
Thank you.
Oh, that's crazy.
I also, I think a lot of us, when we first go to college, or as like I said, being a first gen, I suffered from imposter syndrome as well. I thought, why is it me? Maybe I'm not the right fit. Maybe this or that, and you just really start doubting yourself. And then you just have to realize, you're there for a reason, and you just have to, overcome all of your hardships. And I really liked your story and the ending, and I can't wait to see what you do in your career, because you're just a sophomore. So I can't wait to see where, your journey ends.
Yes, Caitlin says the same, a similar point. Thank you for sharing your story. So many brilliant young people have a similar experience and often don't find the type of support you found. So glad you're trying to share similar support with other youth. Yay. Well, we're going on to our final speaker for this evening. If you're just tuning in, definitely put things in the comments. Welcome these speakers. The purpose of this event is to really lift up underrepresented voices, specifically from Richmond, San Pablo, East Bay, and really be able to provide a platform. And so we have 3 young people here today, all ages 19 to 22, talking about their experiences. So we've heard 2 stories, and now we're going to a poem by Janiece.
Okay, so this one is titled Struggle. I'm struggling with who I thought I would be and the reality of where I am. I thought growing up meant grind, pay bills, and enjoy life. No one told me you have to take care of yourself mentally. And mentally, I'm failing. Mentally has led to spiritually, and spiritually has led to physically. I never realized how a mental battle can weigh on you so heavily. I'm looking at myself thinking, how did I get here? How did the little girl with so much light, ambition, and joy in her eyes stop dreaming? How? How did it change? When did it change? Someone told me life changes you, and I always thought you had control of that change. But sometimes you don't even realize how life has changed you. You go on thinking you've healed, and you carry the weight of mentally forgetting about yourself. But today, I acknowledge where I am, and I choose to see the light. I choose to see the light at the end of the tunnel. I decided to get up. I exercised my body, my mind, and my soul, and I'm no longer struggling. That is the first poem. I'm going to read another one. This one is entitled, I Am Who I Am. I am who I am. I am an intelligent woman, but seen as less than based upon the color of my skin. I know how to conduct myself in a room with anyone, but I'm looked at as less than because I'm a woman. I'm strong and courageous, but told I shouldn't do manly tasks because it's bias. I ask myself, do I follow these biases? How do I operate when I feel these biases work against me? I know I pick my head up and I walk confidently in who I am. I am a woman. I embrace being that because nothing is more beautiful than a woman. I embrace the color of my skin because there's nothing more beautiful than my melanin. I embrace the community that sees no race, gender, or bias, but loves equally. I embrace the culture that I've created with the energy I want to receive. I am who I am. I am she confidently.
Nice. Oh, wow, Janiece. It's so hard to share poetry.
Yeah.
It's the ultimate vulnerability, and especially original poetry that you created for yourself, but to put it out there in the world. So if you're listening, definitely let Janiece know if anything resonated with you. Did anything feel similar to your feelings? For myself, I mean, I resonated with both the first one where you were talking about the journey of like needing to take care of yourself so that you move from struggle to not struggling so you could be the most powerful self. And I also, in your second poem, just love how, being a woman confidently and really owning it. And I just love that you bring that fight, but you also bring the joy.
Yes.
Yeah. How about others? Oh, you have a bunch in here. My baby girl, you're awesome and powerful because you stayed the course. Bishop James Williams. Nancy says, wow, so powerful, Janiece. You are giving me the chills. And Caitlin says, yes. So how about others, Kathy or Mylani?
I was like speechless. I could tell that every single word, you really like, it really resonated with you and who you are, and just the words that you chose, it just fit so perfectly. And I just loved both of your poems and the message that you portrayed. It was just amazing.
Thank you.
I loved everything about that. Speechless is the right word to use. I don't know. I was hanging on every word, and I just felt engaged in the way you presented yourself. And then I just felt like captivated to really listen to what you had to say. And so that's really inspiring, and I admire that a lot.
Thank you.
Yes, Shamel says, and in that order, I'm just out here trying to function.
Yeah. Oh, wow, that was phenomenal. I mean, I was your coach. It literally gave me chills because you were able to take the feedback and really apply it and take it to the stratosphere with that. So I am just super proud that you were able to incorporate the things that we talked about into it and really deliver. I think what I learned from all of you, but is that stories and poems are healing. Like I heard
Mhm.
words of encouragement that really resonated with me that I needed to hear right now. And I know that there are others out there in the audience who needed to hear your story, Kathy, that needed to hear your story, Milani, and we needed those poems like right now. So I want to thank you for that healing energy that you were able to, you know, translate through your words and through your voices. Thank you.
Yes. I mean, I think the power is being able to articulate what other people are going through and what you're going through, because it's coming from a very real, vulnerable place. And so I just to debrief this a little bit. So, you know, if you've just joined, we've heard from these three young speakers. And if you missed it, you can still visit our Facebook page and check out the live. So it's still going to be there. But let's debrief a little bit. How did it go for you? Was it harder than you expected? What parts went well?
I honestly thought that it was gonna be a lot easier. I don't know if it showed or not, but I was very nervous. But I tried to, not show my nervousness, especially because since it is something that it is my story, and even though public speaking could be something very difficult to do, um, I found that it would just, you know, flow easier because it is me, it is my story. I shouldn't have to worry about any of it. But I definitely was nervous, but towards the end I knew that I chose my words correctly, and I just at the end I just am so happy that I'm here and that I spoke for all of these people and for the community as well, and just along with hearing everyone else's stories and poems.
Mm-hmm.
I think for me, I was extremely nervous beforehand. I wasn't expecting to be that nervous, but I think I was just anxious about the vulnerability of it and just sharing my story and how it would be received. And the fear of judgment, I think that was a big part of it. But as I was speaking, I kind of just felt like really connected to what I was saying. And I think the anxiety of it just faded away. And by the end, I just really enjoyed sharing. So it was really fun.
Hey, that's good.
I think this event was really great. It was kind of cool how everything tied in together for all three speakers, and we didn't really meet until today. So that was cool as an underlining theme. Even though we had a certain area to fit in, we all kind of were that first generation college student, kind of talked about going through that struggle. So I thought that was really great. I actually just recently started writing poetry. So for me, this is the first time I've ever performed my poetry in front of anyone. So it was really, really different for me. I was a little nervous. I was like, I've never done this, but you guys were really, really supportive. So I appreciate it. And it was good to just have this community to be here and build and grow, and know you're not alone in certain things.
Yeah. Was there anything in coaching or just getting ready that helped you kind of feel like you, I mean, we only, so coaching wise, so just for everyone out there, they signed on and they had 30 minutes before they went live. so I mean, in terms of feeling ready, like usually, it takes a long time, but sometimes I think what we're looking at today is how even just a little bit of preparation hopefully is helpful. But I'm curious about what actually did you take to heart?
Willie was really, really great. He gave me a couple tips and I ran with those things. So it was good to hear his feedback and him saying that I took those notes, because I definitely am big on taking what someone is giving into me. So if you take the time to pour into me, I want to make sure that exudes. So that was really, really great. And we had a lot of common things in common. So that was even more great. So it just kind of flowed. It made me feel more comfortable and ready to present to everyone else.
Excellent.
Thank you.
I appreciated like even the smallest tips, just like breathing. I think when you overthink, it's easy to forget the smallest things. And I know when I'm nervous, I forget to breathe and then I just start rambling. So just simple things like that, just living in the moment and focusing on how you want to present yourself and really express your emotions and convey that to your audience.
I definitely agree with Mylani just because we don't realize that, taking a pause and breathing can actually just help your speech, not only just to gather your thoughts, but just to take a breather and take it in, especially because everyone gets nervous when you're doing public speaking, despite of how many times you've done it or your experience with it, especially because it is my first time being on live on Facebook with a lot of people watching. But you know, just pausing and breathing is definitely something that I actually never thought of, because I always just go quickly through everything and just try to get it done just because I'm so nervous.
Yes, I resonated with what you said about, just feeling nervous and being surprised that it actually didn't feel easier than, that struggle is real. And one thing I often will say to people that we work with is that there's 3 words that are really important. Commit. So like really just commit to your ideas and just take a stand. Commit, connect, and let go. The letting go part, sometimes we're like in our heads, like trying to just see if we did a good job or not. And then that can be really hard. So also just taking a chance to let go. I only have one more question, but Willie, I wanted to see, did you have a question as well?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of modeled it, but did you learn anything from the other speakers? What are some nuggets, some things that really stood out from other folks' speeches? I'd love to hear that.
For me and Mylani's, it was really good to hear just about someone transitioning to college. I think that's something that we all go through. That was kind of a part of my poem, just like the transition and the struggle of transitioning. A lot of times people tell us like, oh, college is so hard because you have to do homework. And when you get to college, that's not the hardest part. That's kind of what you figure out. And so I think we all were able to agree on that. And with Kathy, it was just being that first generation college student. And a lot of times we go through our matriculation and we have struggles, maybe educationally or just anything that we go through. And a lot of times we're like, okay, I can't do this. But just that not giving up and that sticking to what you want to do and getting that outcome that you want to see just by being consistent.
Yeah. For me, it was just, we're talking about voice, about hearing everyone's voices and through experience. And it was just very touching, like how we're talking about how they all kind of like intertwine. They're all very different, but they all intertwine. And I think that's just very beautiful, especially because we all come from the same community, and it's just very inspiring.
Yes, I think that when I think about communication or public speaking, a lot of people think it's about someone on a stage. And I usually think about it in terms of connection and just like all those unexpected ways. And I think you said it, Kathy, beautiful. So if you were to give one little line of advice to the people out there who might also be nervous about public speaking, what little piece of advice would you give them?
Taking your time.
Taking your time. Nice. How about you, Mylani?
I would just say there's someone out there who needs to hear what you have to say. So, yeah.
Nice.
And I would just say just planning and organizing what you're going to say. And even though, because there's always that time where no matter how much you practice or no matter how much you organize everything that you're going to say, sometimes things, when it's live or when you're public speaking, it doesn't come out how expected. So just remember to keep on going, even though if you messed up, and to just, that this is a safe space, and that, again, everyone gets nervous, just take a breather and just keep going, like how you said about letting go.
Yes. And on that note, we just also want to extend this opportunity to all three of you. If you ever want to come back and give another story or a speech, it's not one and done. You can always come back on and share more of your stories and poems. But also want to extend an invitation out there to the world. Hello, Facebook folks. If you are someone who has felt nervous about public speaking or has something really important to say, or both, we welcome you. Each month, we're going to do these little online live events. And the next one's October 20th. And we haven't come up with the themes yet, but save the date, October 20th. These are always at 6:30. And if you're a speaker, you sign on at 6 and roughly, 45 minutes to an hour. So it's not a huge deal. But if you're interested, and we can put this in our post as well, but the sign up is a bit.ly link. So bit.ly/practice world. And that will bring you to the sign up sheet where you can put down what you want to say and what you want to speak. It's open to anyone. We especially want voices from Richmond and San Pablo, and any other voices as well. We welcome youth of all ages, but also any adults, especially from Richmond serving organizations that want to come on and join us. We welcome you. So with that, we'll call it a night. But thank you so much, Janiece, Kathy, Mylani, and Willie. Thank you so much. One big round of applause for everybody. Yes.
My language, sorry.
Yes. Thank you for being brave, and we will stay in touch. Good night, all.
Bye.
Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Welcome. Take care, everyone.